Hi guys, let's now discuss a problem 2 pile game given in the Codechef Starter 220 contest. So the problem statement says that there are X number of biscuits and Y number of cakes. X biscuits and Y cakes. And Alice and Bob takes turns eating them. There are two players who will play this game, and those both players are Alice and Bob. And on each player's move, each player's move, the player will do one of the three things. That is, eat a biscuit. That means reduce the number of biscuits by one. The second operation that they can do is eat one biscuit and eat a cake. That is x minus 1 and y minus 1. The third operation that they can do is eat a cake but add one biscuit to the pile. That means x plus 1 and y minus 1. The winner is whoever makes the last move, and we want to find the person who can win the game when both of the players play optimally. For that, let's first try to understand a few sample test cases given in the problem statement. X is equal to 2 and y is equal to 0. That means as Alice plays first, what can Alice do? He can, as there are only biscuits left, what he can do is reduce them by 1. Okay, when Bob plays, it will get reduced to 0, 0, and there are no moves left, so Bob is the winner in this case. Let's take another case. 3, 0. As Alice starts first, Alice has only one option, that is to eat a biscuit. So biscuit will get reduced by 1. Now Bob also has only one choice, that is to eat a biscuit. Again, in the Alice chance, he will eat another biscuit and there are no other moves to make. So for this round, Alice will be the winner. Let's try to see another test case to understand it better. Let's say x comma y are 1 and 0. So as Alice plays first, the only option left for Alice is to choose a third option, that is eat a cake and increase the biscuits by 1. So it will be converted something like this. Now Bob has the choice of choosing. So as there are only biscuits left, Bob will eat a biscuit, and as there are no other moves to make, the current winner is Bob. From these three test cases, we can generalize one thing. When y is equal to 0, the answer is always dependent on x. If x is even, let's say it is even, then the player that can win is Bob. When x is odd, the player that can win is always Alice. And also, this condition is only possible if the next player that is going to play is Alice. If the next player that is going to play is Bob, the conditions are different. We'll discuss about that in the future. Let's look at another test case to get to know about this question a little more. And the question becomes interesting now. Let's say the x comma y is 1, 2. Initially, the x and y are 1, 2, right? Let's try to simulate all the possibilities of operations that we can perform in this initial 1, 2 starting point. 1, 2. Let's say this is the first x and y is the second position. As Alice is going to play, Alice has three choices that he can make. He can either choose first operation where he eats a single biscuit, and the following case can be like this, where he can choose the second operation where he tries to eat a cake. So it becomes something like, the second operation will eat a cake and also a biscuit, so it will be something like 0, 1. And in the third case, when he eats a cake, he increments the number of biscuits by 1, so it will become something like this, 2, 1. And in the following case, now Bob is going to play in the following cases, right? Okay, as the number of biscuits here are 0, Bob can only make the third operation and make the biscuits 1 and decrease the cake by 1. Okay, in this state, Bob only has one operation, and he can choose a third operation and make the cakes go down by 1 and increment biscuits by 1. So it will be something like this. And at this position, Bob again has 3 options. Bob can choose to perform the first operation, eat a biscuit, so the states will be 1 comma 1. Bob can try to eat a cake and also a biscuit, so the states can be like 1 comma 0. And the last state, the last operation is to eat a cake and increment the biscuits by 1. So the biscuits will be 3 and cakes will become 0. We reached a state where we found an answer. As we have previously discussed, we know that whenever the y becomes 0, the answer is dependent on the variable x. If x is odd, the answer is Alice. If x is even, the answer is Bob. Let's see a case when wherever y is 0. When y is 0, x is odd, so Alice will be the winner. And whenever y is 0 and x is odd, the Alice will be the winner. Okay, and let's see the other 2 cases that are remaining. 1 comma 1. Let's try to analyze them. The player that is going to make the next move is Alice. So we'll write for Alice. Alice also has 3 choices that he can make. A. Let's say he tries to perform the first operation by eating a biscuit. So the states will be something like this. Let's say if he tries to eat a cake as well as a biscuit, the states will be like something 0 comma 0. And let's say if he tries to eat a cake and increment the biscuit by 1, so states will be something like this 2 comma 0. Even here we can see a case, a final case where y is 0. Whenever we see a y as 0, we have to decide the answer based on the x value. The answer is still Alice because, see, when we previously discussed, we came to a conclusion that whenever the whenever the y value is 0, the answer is dependent on x. If x is even, the answer is Bob. If x is odd, the answer is Alice. This condition is only possible when the next player Alice. Let's say in this condition, the next operation is going to be done by Bob. So the properties get reversed. Whenever the next player that is going to play is Bob, we have to check if y is 0 and Bob is going to play next. If x is even, only then Alice will win. If x is odd, Bob will win. So in this condition, the next player that is going to play is Bob, and that means the conditions are swapped now. So as y is 0 here, as y is 0 and x is positive, the next player, the player that is going to win is Alice. So we got an answer here also. Let's try to expand this. As Bob is going to make the next move, so no biscuits are present and only a single cake is present. So the only possible operation that Bob can make is 3 and choose to eat a cake and increment biscuit by 1. As the next player that is going to play is Alice and the number of cakes is 0 and x is odd. So the player that is going to win is Alice again. So in all the conditions, we can see that always Alice is winning. Always Alice. So we'll try to generalize this into a formula. The main observation again is inside the operations that are given to us. If we carefully observe for the operations on biscuits, the biscuit in each operation either it is increasing or either it is decreasing. In the first 2 operations, the value of biscuits is decreasing. In the third operation, the value of biscuits is increasing. That means after every operation, the value of x is changing. Let's say if the current value is even, and in the next operation the parity will be odd, and in after that, after its operation, the odd will again change to even, because plus 1 or minus 1 on a even number will change that to an odd number, and plus 1 or minus 1 on an odd number will change that into an even number. So we can say we can form a cycle here. Let's now try to relate this to the main initial states. Let's say initially x was odd and we don't care about y. Let's say initially x was odd, and in the second operation that will change to x will become even, right? And in its next operation it will again change to odd again. As this is the initial state, the first operation that is made by is Alice and the second operation is done by Bob. So we can say, let's list all the possible odd numbers that are 1, 3, 5 and so on, and let's list the even numbers that are 0, 2, 4 and so on. Whenever the initial condition is an odd, the only Alice can make it to the make the number as even, and in the future also only Alice can make it as 0. Let's try to reverse a case where the initial condition is even. Let's say x is even here and we don't care about y. The first operation is going to be done by Alice. So when even after an operation, the x value will become an odd here, and after that in Bob's operation the value again goes to an even here. Let's list all the even numbers first, that are 0, 2, 4 and so on, and the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on. We can see that whenever the initial value of x is even, the only person who can make the last value of x as 0 is Bob. Let's take an example. If say the current value of x is 2, so 2 will go to 1 and 1 will become 0. Alice will make the x as 1 and the 1 to 0 will be done by Bob. So we can say that always Bob makes the last move to make the number of biscuits as 0. So the whole problem boils down to a simple condition is, if the number of x is odd, not equal to 0, the answer is Alice, else answer is Bob. I hope this explanation was good and you guys were able to understand it. If you want more videos on this Codechef editorial, please be subscribed to our channel so that you'll be notified whenever a new video drops out. Thank you.